Hello, welcome to the Talking City podcast from Wembley, and not the result Manchester City wanted in the FA Cup final. 0-1 on the day from Crystal Palace. Just underwhelming. It just feels like the story of City season. We're going to have 5-10 minutes just going through just what went wrong, our initial feedback. Palace haven't even lifted the trophy sort of behind us, and then we'll go more in depth on Monday morning in the Talking City podcast back at City. The way we're doing this is a bit odd because opposite me is Simon Bajkowski, so I can see you in person and on screen. So it's difficult one to. Is it a difficult one to analyse?
It's a mad day from start to finish. Like from the second the team sheet dropped, it was just mental. Just like what is going on, what has gone on. Squad was obviously mad because no Rico Lewis, no James McAtee, despite the fact that they're not injured. Claudio Echeverri for the first time ever makes his City debut coming off the bench in an FA Cup final. Grealish stays on the bench. The whole team, the team that Pep picks is like 5 forwards and like it's mad. And City played really well. City played really well in the first half. Should have done more with it. Missed a penalty. Undone by one counter. Stupid red card decision that's never been given. And yeah, just a crazy day that is hard to process at the minute, I think.
I'm not sure they did play well. My initial feeling just seeing that second half and the sort of difficulties of they had all the ball, but we've seen it so often. I saw it at Southampton. You never thought they were going to score in that second half. The first half, yeah, I think they were on top. Even when Palace scored, I thought they might still have a go. Sounds like they're going to lift the trophy any second now. But the first goal rocked them a bit. They got back. They won the penalty, and you thought, right, this is fine. They're going to get back. Let's talk about that Dean Henderson thing. He was Haaland's through on goal. Sort of has to go around Henderson. Henderson slaps it away from Haaland with his hand outside the box. It comes back for a VAR review for denying a goal scoring opportunity. That's rejected, but they seem to then forget that Henderson slapped the ball away from Haaland outside the area. I'm not sure how that's not a red card, and then he goes and saves the penalty, which felt inevitable. Just an odd situation.
Yeah, I cannot understand it. Like, we're probably more sympathetic to the City lens than most, but like even the most red-eyed of Manchester United fans were saying, Wayne Rooney's on the BBC saying, get rid of VAR because this is awful. Like, I cannot understand that the VAR is saying that he's not denying a goal scoring opportunity because Haaland is going away from the goal. Well, Haaland's going to the goal until Dean Henderson gets the ball with his hand outside the area and slaps it away from the goal. Like if he doesn't do that, so it's a red card. I'm not saying he probably wouldn't have scored the free kick or whatever, but it should have been a red card. Henderson would have been on the pitch for the penalty. Makes another great save from Doku towards the end of the first half. I agree with you also. Like, I thought that he played well in the first half. He didn't play well in the second half. But just a crazy day.
And it was inevitable anyway, but Henderson had a really, really good game. He kept City out. He was just there all the time. Didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, Pep was arguing with him at full time. He just sort of waved the finger, didn't he, and said, you shouldn't have been on the pitch to make that. It was a very good penalty save. Why did Erling Haaland not take that penalty? We were sort of talking beforehand about his sort of baffling record at Wembley. It was 5 games at Wembley without scoring. Now it's 6, 7 finals. I think without scoring. Now it's 8. It was almost as if he had that on his mind. It felt sort of inexplicable why he didn't take it.
More madness. Like, Haaland gets the ball as soon as he gets the penalty, and you think, right, well, he's going to take the penalty. He doesn't. Marmoush, fine. He's got a good record. Haaland has missed 3 penalties this season. He missed one at Bournemouth in the FA Cup, which is his sort of like, he's only actually started. This was his second start since then because he's been injured. Maybe he wasn't feeling it. I mean, Pep said before the game started, I don't know whether Haaland will make it through the 90 minutes. So maybe there was something that felt he couldn't take the penalty, but you're meant to be the best number 9 in the world in like the world's ever seen. So take the penalty because it's yours to miss. So it's kind of the worst of all worlds, really.
And surely if you've got that record and he will know about that, surely a penalty is a perfect way. And if he hits it like Marmoush does and Henderson saves it really well, fine. But you've at least stepped up and done that. It'll be interesting to see what Guardiola says about that. Haaland, when the full time whistle went, stood on the halfway line and just stared at the Crystal Palace sort of celebrations. Then he turned and stared at the City fans. That is the trophy lift behind us, and it is not Manchester City. But they looked stunned. But I don't know. It doesn't surprise me that much because they've been putting in these performances all season where everything is right, but they just can't get that goal. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne was very good. I'm not sure Jeremy Doku did a lot when he had the ball. It was sort of the story of everyone's season where nobody really turned up, and then we see Claudio Echeverri come on out of nowhere. He's opted not to put McAtee, who sort of got them through the first few rounds. He's opted not to start Grealish, who's played a fair bit in the FA Cup, and he plays a lad who's seemingly very good, but to play him on his debut, it felt like he was keeping all of his wildcard selections for this game. And not heard the comparison to Chelsea 2021 a few times today, and it's got that feeling where the selection just has not worked.
It just didn't work. And I feel for Guardiola when he says, he's people decide whether he's a genius or a madman based on the result. But so many decisions today just didn't work. And yeah, like the damage that you will do by leaving two homegrown players out who aren't sure whether, they've got a future in their squad out for this game when they've got you to this game, and picking Echeverri, I'd be surprised if he's at City next season, because he's probably going to go out on loan somewhere. So, like, what's it worth? Like, that's the question. And I go back to Haaland's interview before the FA Cup final where he said, "Not one of us has been good enough this season," and that was the story of today. And that included the manager, who has said all season, "I've not been good enough," and he didn't have a very good day today because his decisions didn't come off, just like none of his players' decisions came off.
Something about just looking at Pep, and like he's always sort of animated and he's in his own head, but he just didn't feel like he was there today. If that makes sense, he didn't look like he was truly himself, where when he's in the zone, when he's got loads of ideas and knows how the game's going to go. It didn't feel like he knew how the game was going to go today. And then at full time, he's arguing a little bit and he's standing on his own, and it just feels like, I don't know, nobody in that dressing room will be able to put a finger on what went wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's like Pep. It feels like overthinking, and it feels like Glasner maybe getting in his head after the league game when they beat him 5-2 with that kind of 4-2-2-2, and Glasner said, "Don't play that way again because we'll solve it." But also, like, once you put all your forwards on the pitch, like you've not really left yourself anywhere to go if you're then chasing the game. He puts Foden on, he puts Echeverri on. Echeverri gets a few chances, but they can't change it. It's just, it just felt like, we've sort of grown into the stability of the last month or so, and the calming effect of like knowing what the team's going to be and like knowing how the team are going to perform. And it was just too out there today to get anything right.
And I think we've got to say that Palace played it perfectly. They soaked up the pressure in the first half. They got the bit of luck with the Henderson red cards. Their key players did what they needed to do at the right times. And as much as City fans listen to this won't want to hear it, but you're looking at those scenes, you can't begrudge those fans. If it was any other club that Palace beat in the final, I think City fans would be like, "Do you know what, fair play, enjoy yourself." And they are definitely going to enjoy yourself. I think throughout the season, they've been one of the better teams to face City. A lot of teams have beaten City, but I think even though this is their first win over City in the three meetings, they've given City three really, really tough games.
Yeah, and Manchester City might not want to hear it, but it's good for the game that they've not won the Premier League this season. It's good for the game that Palace have won the FA Cup. And like, we had this big thing about, should Spurs or United be getting Europe when they've won like a cup competition? I am absolutely delighted that Palace will be playing in European football next season as a reward for winning this FA Cup final, because it's not been a gimme at all. Like, City were pretty good, and it's a big test, and you've got to make it through every round. They've had tests every round. They've made it superb in the semi against Villa, superb today. And like, that is the FA Cup and cup competitions at their best when you get a real reward from doing it. They've been a great team to watch in the league this season, and they fully deserve European football for their FA Cup achievement.
I like the idea of Europa League at Selhurst Park. I feel like that fits. It's something we've not had, and I'm quite also looking forward to all the sort of the foreign teams coming to a traditional English stadium. But that's not any consolation to City fans. We're off to go and talk to Pep Guardiola and see if any of the players will give us their verdict. But I don't know. Let's hope for that, whether they do or not. But yeah, we'll have all of the reaction, analysis, everything, all the colour that we've seen at Wembley here from Wembley on the Manchester Evening News in the coming days, and we'll have a more in-depth debrief. We'll maybe look a little bit more into the McAtee and Lewis situations ahead of the Bournemouth game on Tuesday, which has turned into an even bigger one. I think Pep said that he didn't risk Kovacic because of that big game, and that one is now absolutely massive. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week with more Talking City, where we'll go a bit more in depth on City's disappointing FA Cup final defeat.